It started with a text. "I'll be working overnight with my boss tonight. Don't wait up." Simple enough, right? Except I'd never received texts like that before. And something about the way it read, detached, almost rehearsed, made my stomach twist. I stared at my phone long after the screen went dark, the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen suddenly deafening. My wife, Sarah, had always been candid about her schedule. This wasn't honesty. It was a half-truth at best. The evening passed like a slow-motion reel. I noticed the little things. Her phone face down on the counter, a sudden flurry of unread messages she hurriedly deleted when I walked by, and her laughter that felt too forced, too sharp. I told myself I was imagining it. I'd been paranoid before. Maybe I was overthinking. But then came the missed calls. 3 in one evening, from a number I didn't recognize. And when I asked her, she flinched, a shadow crossing her eyes before she said, "Just work stuff. Don't worry about it." That's when the doubt started to eat me alive. I remembered nights when she'd brush past my questions, phone tucked away, eyes darting. I remembered laughter that didn't reach her eyes, secrets tucked in quiet corners of our apartment. And suddenly, all those small moments that once seemed innocent, late nights at the office, surprise meetings, her sudden bursts of irritation when I asked simple questions, felt like pieces of a puzzle I didn't want to see. I tried to convince myself of my own weakness. "You're just insecure," I thought. "You've always overreacted." But even my rational mind couldn't ignore the pit in my stomach that had grown into a roaring fire. It wasn't until the weekend getaway we'd planned that the truth began to unravel. I'd assumed it would be us, Sarah and me, finally away from work, from responsibilities. But she seemed distracted. Her phone constantly buzzed, and she'd retreat to the bathroom for hours at a time. I told myself it was nothing, that I was letting jealousy poison our trip. But deep down, I couldn't shake the fear. The turning point came by accident. She left her laptop open, just for a moment, while she went to grab a drink. And there it was, a thread of messages between her and someone I didn't know, full of inside jokes, plans, and intimate confessions. Every word felt like a punch to the gut. My chest tightened. My hands shook. I read, reread, and read again, hoping it was some mistake, some misinterpreted joke. But the clarity of it hit me like a freight train. I confronted her that night, in our hotel room, the city lights spilling across the floor. "Who is he?" I asked, voice low, trembling. She froze. Then she sighed, the kind of weary breath that carries guilt and exhaustion. "It's complicated," she whispered. I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did. The room spun. My mind raced through every memory we'd shared, every touch, every laugh, every promise. Could it all have been lies? The betrayal wasn't cinematic. There were no dramatic reveals, no shouting matches. Just quiet admissions and a slow, hollow sinking feeling that filled every corner of the room. In the days that followed, the small details gnawed at me. The way she smiled when she thought I wasn't looking. The inside jokes I hadn't been a part of. The scent of another cologne lingering in our apartment. And yet, part of me still wanted to believe in us, to salvage what was left. But trust, once broken, is impossible to mend fully. It fractures into shards that cut every time you try to piece them together. I made a choice, then. One fueled by heartbreak but also clarity. I could rage, scream, and beg for answers. Or I could protect myself, reclaim my life, and expose the truth, not just to heal, but to ensure the pattern couldn't continue. It took weeks to gather proof. Emails, messages, financial records, everything she tried to hide. And in doing so, I realized this wasn't just about betrayal in a relationship. It was about honesty, accountability, and reclaiming my own sense of worth. When I finally confronted her with the evidence, I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply said, "I know everything. I trusted you, and this is the consequence." The fallout was devastating. Friends took sides. Families fractured. The woman I loved, the one I'd believed in, was gone. But through the pain, I discovered a quiet strength I didn't know I had. The ability to walk away, to stand tall, to rebuild from the ruins. I sold the apartment. I cut ties. I moved into a small space, surrounded only by what mattered: truth, integrity, and the people who had proven themselves worthy. The betrayal still stings, of course. Memories are ghosts that whisper in quiet moments. But I've learned to let them be reminders, not chains. And sometimes, late at night, I catch myself smiling. Not because I've forgotten, not because the wound has healed completely, but because I survived. I faced heartbreak, betrayal, and the collapse of everything I thought I knew. And I came out the other side, intact, stronger, and finally free. Sometimes, the hardest lessons in love aren't about the person who betrayed you. They're about finding the courage to protect yourself, to honor your own heart, and to walk away with dignity intact. Because the truth has a weight, and carrying it alone can feel unbearable. But once you embrace it, once you let it guide your actions, you realize something profound. Betrayal may have broken your world, but it didn't break you.